Good morning, CD Ray here. I'm going to try to make a video today showing how I took a treadmill motor and powered my extractor. This is still a work in progress. Maybe somebody will have some ideas that'll make it better after they watch this video. But anyway, I'll show you what components I used, how I attached mine to the extractor, and I'll post it on YouTube. I had some people wanting to know how I did it, so this is how I did it. Stand by. Okay, so what I did was I took the existing brace. This was across the top of the extractor. This is where the gear box was for the hand crank, and I took the gearbox off. I ordered a bearing from Amazon. I can find the part number and post it, but it was a 5/8 bore. The hole in the bearing is 5/8. It's got a locking collar on it that locks with a Allen screw there. I went to the hardware store and bought a piece of 5/8 threaded rod. I think it comes in a 3-foot length, and this double nut. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it's threaded all the way through. Let's see here. Of course, it's hard to do with one hand, but let's see. This nut is right at 2.5 inches long, and I screwed it onto the all thread, and then I welded it, and you really can't see it too well because it's in that hole. But anyway, I welded it to I welded the threaded rod to the nut, and then kind of ground it down smooth. So and I of course notched this to fit down over that. Not sure how well this is going to work. I have misplaced the little ball bearing that goes in the bottom of the extractor after I cleaned it the other day. I forgot where I put the bearing. Anyway, I'll have to come up with another one. So, but you can see how I notched that, and it's ugly. As I said, this thing is a work in progress. So when this turns, the extractor turns, and you know, it could be. I got a little slop in that fitting there. This actually is supposed to be up a little higher. If the ball bearing was in there, it'd fit a little tighter. Probably not even in the screen. I need my tripod. Okay, so let me stop a minute and let me talk about this. I got this pulley from the local salvage yard. This is a water pump pulley that came off of some type of Ford product. I don't know that that's necessarily important what it came off of, but it's got the serpentine belt configuration, so I could use a standard belt from the auto parts store. I'm going to put this on. This mounts onto the threaded rod. I'll show you how I did that. I started with, all I do is just use a double nut configuration. Let me put my tripod over here, stand by. Okay, let's try this. So I screw this nut on, mainly as a spacer for this pulley. Put the pulley on, a lock washer, and another nut. And I'll tighten that. With my handy dandy vice grips on. So once you tighten that, it's actually fairly secure. Still, like I said, I got some slack in between the spinner basket and this nut down here, but that's just because I cut my groove so wide. Alright, the last thing is the motor and the belt. And I fought with trying to figure out how to mount this motor for a while. I'm still not sure if I like this setup. I may change it, but this is how it is currently. So again, hold on and we'll look at that. Okay. The treadmill motor. This pulley, I hope I'm in the screen. This pulley is an alternator pulley off of a car. Ford, Chevrolet, I don't think it matters. Just wanted to get the same number of grooves in this pulley so it would match up with the grooves on this pulley. I had to get one of my friends that's a machinist to machine the shaft down on this motor to make this pulley fit. That was really the only machine work that had to be done. I had to make this pulley fit on this treadmill motor because the old pulley that was the one that came on it had too many belt grooves and I couldn't find a belt that would work with it. This bracket I cut off of the old treadmill and fabricated a little bit just with some trial and error. I just have one hole drilled in here for right now. And what I do is I take out this existing bolt that holds the leg on, and I hope the leg doesn't fall off. Just mount it with this bolt through here into the leg. Don't have enough hand. Don't have enough hands. I've got to drill another hole and get this a little more level. I haven't done that yet. And the last thing is the belt. This is a standard automotive belt from the auto parts store. This one happens to be a Gates Micro V. The part number is K060455, and it just goes on like so. And I don't have that bolted down, but so that's that. The belt doesn't have to be extremely tight for it to operate. And when this turns, the extractor turns. And it actually worked very well the first time I used it, the only time I've used it. Of course, this would be screwed, bolted down. The problem to solve yet is the issue with the wiring and the controls for the treadmill. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that. That's the control box for the treadmill. It's got a transformer and printed circuit board and such. That's what it uses for the variable speed, or part of the variable speed. And then this one rheostat that slides is how you actually control the starting, stopping, and the speed. I could take this out of this panel and mount it somewhere. The rest of this panel can be trashed, but I just haven't done that yet. But that's the general idea. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do my wiring. I haven't figured out where I'm going to mount the panel. I need it where I can be disassembled fairly easily for cleaning. And I didn't think it turned out too bad for the first attempt. It seemed to work well. Let you have your hands free to do uncapping and other things instead of having to stand here and spin an extractor. And you can adjust the speed and start it off very slowly and then gradually increase it. I did have a few blowouts on some comb because I got too fast too quick, and I was using foundationless. But I solved that problem pretty quickly. Just go slower, take your time. Nothing fancy, just a little ingenuity, and it seems to work. So, I'm not going to bolt it down and start it up, but you get the idea. I hope this answers some questions. PM me or send me a message or something if you want to through YouTube if you have any questions or want to see something in more detail, or if I need to put you any part numbers for like this bearing, I can. And that's it. Alright, thanks. CD Ray.